Hey, I'm Simona Costantini, and I'm obsessed with helping you heal, connect to your purpose, and teaching you about all things mindset. I realized I deserved and wanted more from this crazy little thing called life, so I changed my beliefs, healed my hurt, and made it my mission to help you do the same. I'm a recovering people pleaser turned life coach and podcast producer. I teach busy business owners how to fall in love with their life and business and live it on their terms. On this show, you get everything raw and real, from inspirational guest interviews to deep dives into topics like life, relationships, business, purpose, growth, and mindset. I lay it all on the line every time. Think of this as your one-stop shop to help you live a more purposeful and inspired life. This is the Happiness Happens podcast. Are you ready to hear this inspiring conversation? Let's dive on in. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode on the Happiness Happens podcast. Happy New Year. Happy 2021. I'm so excited for this year. I'm so excited for all the opportunities that are heading to all of our way. And I'm just so excited to see how this year transforms. It's not going to be hard to beat 2020, so I'm looking forward to everything that's coming through into 2021. I've been reflecting back the last few weeks about where I started 2 years ago, because every January marks the anniversary of the Happiness Happens podcast, and it's always such a crucial time for me to reflect back and think about all that I've accomplished the year before. And I have the benchmark of, when I launched my podcast to now. So it's always really cool to look back every January and have that timeline. I'm really excited. Before we dive into this episode, I do want to announce that I have a new series starting January 11th, and it's happening on my Instagram page. It's called Align Your Mind, and it's a morning motivation series happening Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. every single day for the foreseeable future. So I'm very excited to dive into that. So I hope you join me there. It's going to be happening on my Instagram. So my handle is at Simona with 2 underscores Costantini. I'll link that in the show notes so that you can access it easily, and then we can connect on there. And I'm looking forward to seeing you Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. for my new series called Align Your Mind. So I always think about this time of year, like I was saying, and I want to go through this episode today about mastering your mindset and mastering 2021 and making it your year. When I started this show 2 years ago, my intention was to help you feel less alone and, let you know and sort of support you through the fact that feelings are normal. Sadness and fear and anger and happiness and joy and contentment, everything mixed together is all normal. But so much has changed since I started my podcast, and so much growth has happened since then. I'm a business owner now with a 5-figure income in 2020, which I'm growing to 6 figures in 2021. I've interviewed so many incredible people. I've opened up my network to so many different possibilities, made new connections, and took many, many risks. Not without a lot of pivoting and a lot of soul searching and a lot of journeying within my own self, of course. But, full transparency, the last few weeks have been really hard for me, though, because there has been lots of change. I quit my job. I moved to a new city. I'm coming up to my Saturn return on January 11th, and I'm going into entrepreneurship full time. So it's been harder than usual to stay in that, positive, abundant mindset when there's so much uncertainty and so much unknown. But I'm really just focusing on trusting that I'm where I need to be right now and that everything will work out, because when I look back, it always does, right? When we look back, everything always works out the way that we envisioned that it would, or something better. So I wanted to dive in. I won't take too long on this episode today because I do want this to be short, impactful, and powerful. You can look forward to, on the podcast into 2021, a lot more solo episodes with little bite-sized information for you to be able to take with you on your day and just go about your business and enjoy your day while implementing the powerful learnings of this podcast. But we'll also still have lots of incredible guests. They'll just be rotated in, I think, every other week or so. And we may even go bi-weekly. Who knows? I'm throwing it out there, but we'll see. I have not made any decisions yet. So here are my 5 tips for mastering 2021 and making it your year. Tip number one is honoring where you've been and then honoring where you're going. Finding gratitude in the hard times so that you can appreciate the good times. Not every day is sunshine and rainbows. Some days are really hard. So really take the time to honor your space and honor where you are right now, even if it's not where you want to be. And you do this by creating and practicing a routine that helps you get back into alignment every day, but being consistent and showing up for yourself. What are your non-negotiables? Like, think about what are the things that you must do every single day in order to recalibrate into a higher vibration. Figure out what those things are. So it can be meditation, it could be reading, it can be writing, it can be journaling, it could be creating, it could be exercising, it could be walking, cooking a delicious meal, or watching a show that brings you joy. Notice what those things are and incorporate them into your day every single day somehow. Sometimes you'll fall out of alignment, and then sometimes you'll come back into alignment. So you just have to honor which season that you're in, and don't get too hard on yourself for coming out of flow, because you're meant to fluctuate. And it's all about, how do you bounce back? How do you take that down moment and transform it into something that's going to empower you and uplift you into, finding what it is, not so much finding what it is, but, uplifting you into that mindset that you want to cultivate for yourself. Number two, nothing changes if nothing changes. You can spend all of 2021 thinking about how hard 2020 was, or how frustrating the residual effects of 2020 are. But ultimately, nothing is going to change in your life until you hard stop and make it change. Are you playing the victim in your story, or are you the main character? Are you creating your life every day, or are you sitting by and watching other people, feeling jealous or feeling envious of their success, but not taking any action towards your own success? Nobody on this planet is luckier than you. Nobody on this planet is more deserving than you. And you have to take action to change what it is that you're unhappy with so that you can grow this year. Take the leap. Take the chance. Feel into the fear that you're feeling and do it anyway. Don't let yourself come up with all of the excuses. Unless you take ownership of your feelings, of your actions, and your outcomes, nothing will change for you. And you'll find yourself at the same spot this time next year, being equally as upset that you wasted a year, because ultimately the goal is to take action. All action is good action, no matter how big or small. And I, personally last year in 2020, action was all that I had. I took action in so many different areas. Some were good, some were bad, but you learn, right? Like, I'm a true believer that there isn't anything that is a bad experience. I really think that every experience, whether it's quote unquote good or quote unquote bad, is, redirecting you and, pushing you towards your highest and greatest self and highest and greatest deservings. So all action is good action, no matter how big or small that action is, because you're taking the step forward. So you're going to take the step forward and you're going to figure out maybe that thing isn't for you, but then you're going to redirect yourself and pivot yourself into a different place, a different spot. But you would have never gotten to that spot if you didn't take the action anyways. So forget about the shoulds and all the things that you should do, and think about what action is it that you want to be taking. What will you do differently this year? And how will you take what you learned in 2020 in terms of like navigating and pivoting into 2021? How are you going to take everything that you've learned and implement it into 2021? Number three is support. Ask for help when you need it. Asking for help is so hard because our ego tells us that it's a weakness. The reality is that when you're stuck in something, whether it's being stuck in mindset, stuck in business, a launch, a plan, or hesitating on moving forward in any way, the longer that you ignore that you need help, the longer that you'll stay stuck in where you don't want to be. Okay? Let me say that for you again. The longer that you ignore that you need help, the longer it is that you'll stay stuck in where you don't want to be. There is no shame in asking for help, and there's no shame in reaching out to somebody that you trust. So whether it's a coach, whether it's a friend, whether it's a mentor, if you need support, reach out and ask for support, because people can't help you if you don't say, "Hi, I need help." So get over the fear, get over the ego, and step into the person who grows. We grow by being uncomfortable. So if your goal this year is to make, 100K in your business, 10K in your business, 30K in your business, whatever feels like a stretch for you. You have to stretch and lean into that place. And if you are so stuck with the fact that you don't want to ask for your help and you can do everything by yourself, I'm sorry, but you're going to be in that place for a really long time. This year, take the time to recognize when you need help and don't be ashamed, because you're going to progress a lot quicker and the blocks won't seem so overwhelming if you just take the chance to ask somebody for help or to be honest about how you feel. There's no shame in that. Number 4 is dream. Have you given yourself the chance to dream about what your life can look like in 2021, or even what you want it to look like? It's so important to let your imagination just go absolutely wild and dream up the boldest possibilities possible. It also helps to do this when you're relaxing and winding down, because your mind tends to be less clouded with your to-do list and all of the things that you need to do and get accomplished that day. But I encourage you to think about your dream for this year and all of the action that you need to take in order to align to this. We talk a lot about this in my private Facebook community, which I'll link in the show notes here. But ultimately, it's about creating that life for yourself. What are the actions that you need to take, and how will you get yourself there? What is your dream? What are you letting yourself dream up? What do you need to do to get into alignment? And then what actions are you taking that align with that dream? The last one is pivot. One thing that 2020 taught us is that sometimes we need to pivot, especially when we least expect it. Whether it's brainstorming a new idea, launching a new program, or trying a new resolution, if it's not going to align to you and what you truly want, it's okay and it's safe to pivot. There's no one way to do business. There's no one way to change and transform your life, and there's no one way to start something new. The key is to recognize when it's time to pivot and listen to your intuition. What is your soul saying? What is your soul calling you to do? What is it that your soul is screaming at you to get your attention with, and how can you honor that, honor your intuition, and honor what the universe is trying to help you build and help you create? This theme about pivoting, I just did a live training about this in my Facebook group. It was part of a longer series, but there's a lot of really good information in there. So head on over to my Facebook group so you can access that free training. Can't wait to see you in there, and can't wait to answer all of your questions. So these are my 5 points. They're super, super simple, but super, super powerful for mastering your 2021 and making it your year. You'll notice that there's nothing in here about goals or anything like that, but it's more so about dreams. What are you dreaming up for yourself? What are you wanting to create? How are you going to create it? And then how are you going to take that and transform it into the life that you are so excited to wake up to every single day? So let me know what resonates most with you in this episode. I hope that you liked all of these 5 tips. I hope that you find them super helpful. I know that you will at least take one of them back and be able to implement it right away. Let me know how it goes. Please reach out to me, say hello, and wishing you an absolutely beautiful 2021. I'm so excited for all of the things that are coming up this year. I'm so excited for all of the growth that's going to happen, all of the community that's going to happen. So if you're listening to this podcast and you've never said hi before, send me a DM on Instagram. I want to hear from you. I want to say hi. And I'm just so excited to share more. So thank you for tuning into this week's episode, and have a powerful week, beautiful day wherever you are in the world. And I will see you on next week's episode. Well, it looks like we have made it to the end of this episode. I'm so proud of you for tuning into this episode, and I'm so grateful that you joined me in this incredible conversation. I would be so grateful if you took a quick second to rate and review the podcast and let me know what you loved the most. I also love hearing from you, and I would love to know your thoughts on this episode. So feel free to tag me online or let me know that you're listening. I'm so excited to connect with you. Wishing you a beautiful day ahead, and remember that happiness happens when you're least expecting it.